Am I the antagonist for not giving up my inheritance so my sister can have a free house? I am 51 years old. My sister is 45 years old. I have worked full-time in 2 professional careers for more than 25 years. My sister has worked mostly dead-end, low-paying jobs for her whole life. I graduated in the top 5% of my senior class. She dropped out and got a General Education Development (GED) certificate. I have a clean criminal history. She was once charged with domestic abuse for hitting my mom. I have been married for 25 years and waited until year 3 to have kids. She got pregnant out of wedlock to a creep and left him. For most of the past 20 years, my mom supported my sister. My sister didn't pay her any rent, nor did she pay for utilities or any other bills. In fact, my mom probably paid for her gas and likely paid for car repairs. Oh, my sister drives a Mustang, of course. Anyway, my mom died in February. She left my sister and me equal shares of her assets. Basically, she left us a house. 2 years before she died, she got into some spats with my sister who was told to move out. After my mom's death, my sister moved back into her house. Her 21-year-old son lives there too. So does his college friend. 2 weeks ago, my sister and I spoke with an attorney. She had tried to do probate and screwed it all up. So I got involved to have a lawyer handle it. He said we have 3 options with the house. My sister can buy out my portion by getting a bank loan. Secondly, she can buy on contract from me. The last option is that we can agree to sell it. After 2 weeks, my sister hasn't even filled out a loan application. I suspect that she's stalling. After all, she is living there for free. Meanwhile, I live far away and pay almost $3,000 a month in rent. I badly want to get my equity from the house so I can buy a place of my own. Today I talked to my sister and she gave me a guilt trip. She said our mom wanted us to keep the house in the family and that her son is sad because it's the house he grew up in. I got a little annoyed and said I can't give up equity in a home because my nephew is sad. Naturally, she didn't respond. So, am I supposed to feel sorry for her and just let her have the house? It seems this is what she expects. Your sister seems to be playing the guilt card quite expertly here, doesn't she? It's like she's trying to guilt trip you into gifting her a house just because her son is attached to it. I get it, it's sentimental and all, but come on, equity is not a gift you give out of pity. It's clear you're ready to move on and make your own space. Plus, let's not forget the whole domestic abuse charge thing. That's a big red flag fluttering in the breeze. Stick to your guns, get what you rightfully deserve, and let her figure out her own Mustang-laden future. Am I the antagonist for admitting I'd never actually been invited to go on the cruise? I, 27-year-old transgender guy, still live with my parents. I'm on the autism spectrum and mom seems to think it means I can't do anything on my own. I have made efforts to move out though. On to the point of this post. My parents are good friends with another couple, whom I'll call Bob and Lauren. They're family friends, really. Along with their sons, whom I'll call Bailey and Harold. For reference, my sister Evelyn is married to Harold. At the tail end of summer, Bob and Lauren called my mom about maybe going on a cruise together this coming summer. I overheard mom talking to dad about it and kinda thought it was a trip for the both of them. Further assured by the fact that I'd heard mom and dad talk about it a handful of times. They were the only ones in those handful of conversations. A little time ago, we went out to eat for Evelyn's birthday. Mom, dad, myself, Harold, and obviously Evelyn had gone. Our baby sister wasn't able to be there physically because of her college schedule, and I don't know why our brother and his fiancée weren't there. Eventually, Evelyn mentioned the cruise, and if I was going with them. I guess she and Harold were also going along with our parents, Bob and Lauren. Before I could even really think about it, I said, I wasn't talked about it with. I guess I wasn't invited. Mom immediately added, of course you were invited. Don't be silly. She talked in a joking manner, but I can tell she didn't want me saying anything else. Apparently, my parents, Bob, Lauren, Evelyn, Harold, Bailey, and Bailey's girlfriend all planned on going. I hadn't known about anything about this. Mom even suspects that Bailey plans on proposing to his girlfriend while on the cruise. Mom looked at me with daggers in her eyes for the rest of dinner. Everyone else was acting normal. Now I'm wondering if I'm the asshole. I just blurted out that I hadn't really been invited. I don't think I was ever really invited. I don't remember being asked, but am I just misremembering? It feels like I'd done something wrong. So maybe I am the asshole. Am I the asshole for telling Evelyn that I hadn't been invited? Oh dear, it seems like you stumbled into a sea of misunderstanding on this cruise situation. It sounds like a comedy of errors rather than intentional exclusion. Given the circumstances, it's understandable why you felt left out of the loop. Miscommunications happen, especially in big families with lots of moving parts like this. It's essential to have open communication with your family about how you feel. Maybe you can sit down with them and clarify the situation calmly. And hey, if everyone is going on this cruise, why not throw a hilarious pirate-themed party at home while they're away? Just a thought to lighten the mood. In the grand scheme of things, it's more of a miscommunication blip rather than intentional exclusion. So no, you're not the asshole in this scenario. Just embrace the chaos and sail on towards smoother waters. Am I the antagonist for blowing up at my partner because they counted their work on our D&D game as one of their chores? I, 35 years old female, and my husband, 35 years old male, have been together for 10 years, blissfully happy, no notes. Over COVID, we got into Dungeons and Dragons. We have a weekly game that runs from 3 to 4 hours with 3 other friends. 5 of us have been going on adventures for the past few years, meeting consistently over Zoom. I've been having a great time overall. My husband is the dungeon master, which means he does a lot of work preparing the sessions. This includes coming up with the characters we are going to have conversations with, figuring out the battles we are going to fight, and so on. I really appreciate his work. On the other hand, I've been feeling like I'm doing more chores in our partnership. I cook a lot, clean the kitchen, help with the laundry, do most of the driving. We tried splitting chores before. There was a period where he would fold laundry or do cleaning while I cooked, but it didn't last beyond a week or 2. I normally don't particularly mind, but life has been especially challenging lately due to health issues in the family, and I think it put extra stress on us. So the other day I cooked dinner. During dinner he was giving me a sneak peek of the magical items he made for the blacksmith in the new town, and I guess I didn't look as excited, so he asked me why. I said, "I'll be excited when you clean up the kitchen after we are done eating." This started a major argument, and we really don't have many of those, so it was a bit intense, about how I don't appreciate his work on this campaign. I countered by saying he's free to work on his hobbies as much as he wants, but it's not the same thing as helping me out with chores. To this he countered, that his work on this Dungeons & Dragons campaign counts as a chore, just like cooking and cleaning. He said he provides a space for hanging out with our friends every week. In a way, he's organizing and scheduling our social life, and that it takes a lot of work. I thought this was an absolutely bonkers perspective. This is where things escalated because I was sort of befuddled, I still am, and he got really hurt. He did say, "The fact that you're asking this shows you don't understand how much work I put into this campaign." For the record, I did run a leg of the campaign as the dungeon master for a few weeks, and it was a lot of work. But it was a hobby, at least to me. It was a fun thing I elected to do, not something I needed to do, like a chore. He pointed out that I don't need to cook either. We can afford to eat out every night and hire a cleaning service for sorting out the apartment. He's not wrong, we can afford it, but it still felt weird. I eventually let it go, but I feel like I am going to need some sort of a resolution to this because I can feel the resentment bubbling in my chest. I don't want to win an argument. I am not looking for vindication, but can someone give me an insight into this conflict? Am I wrong? Am I being the asshole here? Thank you. It sounds like you and your husband have created quite the epic adventure in your Dungeons & Dragons campaign. But it seems like in this real-life scenario, you're both on opposite sides of the castle keep. It's understandable that you're feeling the weight of the chores falling more on your shoulders, especially during these challenging times. Your husband may view his dungeon master duties as a labor of love, akin to running a household. But just like a critical hit in combat, communication is key here. Perhaps it's time to have a heart-to-heart, with no saving throws required, about how you both can support each other better in and out of the game. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work, whether you're slaying dragons or tackling dirty dishes. Good luck on your quest to finding a resolution. Am I the antagonist for not caring that I offended my friend who is pregnant? So I was unaware of this until today, but apparently I have been offending my pregnant friend with Instagram Reels for months. My friend Amy got pregnant 8.5 months ago. Her and her partner do not have many friends or a great support system, due to them not having a relationship with his parents. I've been trying to be a supportive friend the entire time. I've taken Amy to her appointments when her partner can't. I've taken her clothes shopping for the baby, and whenever a pregnancy young mom baby reel comes across my page, I've sent it to her for ideas. Apparently, this is where she takes issue. I want to preface this by saying that these TikToks were never supposed to be anything but fun little things for her to watch. They were just things like newborn wake windows, cute milestones posts, and discount baby thrift shops in our area. This is her first baby and the first friend of mine to have a baby, so I thought she would appreciate the support since a lot of people I know have turned their backs on their friends after they get pregnant, especially when they are young. I messaged her on Instagram today to ask if she had seen the most recent reel I sent her with this baby thrift shop that is about a 1.5 hour drive from us, because I wanted to offer to drive her there while our partners were away at work, quite literally almost to the state border. And I received a very rude message instead. In short, I'm telling her how to be a parent when it's none of my business. I seem to think she's in over her head, and she has far more experience with kids than I do, and I should butt out. I haven't apologized yet because I don't know what to say. But am I the asshole if I simply don't care about her feelings on this? It seems like a stupid thing to get offended over when I have literally been half of her support system through these last 8 months. I have done nothing but support her. I literally got her a job interview at my job to make money before maternity leave. For her to turn around and essentially spit on everything I've done or helped her do. I do not care if a few videos on motherhood offended her so badly she felt the need to get aggressive with me about it. Am I the asshole? It sounds like you've been a great friend to Amy throughout her pregnancy, and I applaud you for being so supportive. However, it seems like your well-intentioned Instagram reels may have unintentionally rubbed her the wrong way. It can be tricky navigating how to support a friend during such a significant life change, especially when it's their first pregnancy. While your efforts may have come from a place of care and wanting to offer ideas and tips, it's important to remember that everyone's journey into parenthood is unique. Maybe Amy is feeling overwhelmed or feeling pressured by the constant influx of baby-related content. It's understandable that she may have felt a bit bombarded by the reels, even if your intentions were good. It's essential to communicate openly and honestly with Amy about how you both have been feeling. It might be a good idea to have a conversation with her, listen to her perspective, and express that you had no intention of overstepping boundaries or making her feel inadequate as a parent-to-be. Apologizing and acknowledging her feelings could help mend any hurt that may have arisen. In the end, it's all about understanding each other's perspectives and being there for one another. Remember, humor can be a great tool to break the tension in such situations, but it's essential to address the underlying issue seriously. Good luck sorting things out with Amy. Am I the antagonist for letting the security door close behind me knowing my neighbor didn't have their key? I live in an apartment building, and we have a lot of strict rules to follow regarding our apartment living. My neighbor, Karen for the sake of things, seems to have been on my back since I moved here 6 months ago. Every little thing she either passive-aggressively mentions or straight up sends a complaint about. I had some door decor for the passing holidays a while back and she absolutely reported me. I know it must have been her because she always passive-aggressively complains about something. Then I'll suddenly get a notice from the superintendent to fix something she complained about. I don't know if she does this to every door in the hall, but it's annoying. I can't even decorate my door shelf. All apartment halls have a security door. It's activated by keycard, and if you lose yours, you are given a fine plus the amount to get a new one. I've been noticing that someone's been leaving the door slightly propped to stop it from closing. Last night I found out the reason why. I was passing through the door and saw Karen in my peripherals. I immediately shut the security door behind me instead of letting it close naturally. She gives me a face and points to the key scanner and shakes her head. I just walk off to my apartment happy with that tiny form of revenge. The next morning, today, the superintendent wanted to know what happened last night because someone reported that you stopped them from entering their apartment. I explained to him what happened, and he says I can't be in trouble for not opening the door for someone. I got a little giddy and told him I wanted to report her for propping the door open and compromising our safety. I've received a very passive-aggressive letter under my door, telling me how I'm selfish, disgusting, and how I got someone who is disabled with kids in trouble. How the money towards the rent and food would be used up for paying off the complaint. Now I had no idea she was disabled, or even had kids. That had nothing to do with this. Her letter says that I need to pay for her 2 fines and keycard fee to make things right, or else I'm putting a family of 3 out of home for my childish behavior. I both feel bad but don't want to bend to her will. Am I the asshole? It sounds like you're dealing with a real-life apartment drama series starring the one and only Karen. While it may be tempting to engage in this neighborly feud, it's important to keep your cool and not get dragged into her games. It's clear that Karen is on a mission to make your apartment living as difficult as possible. From reporting your holiday door decor to propping open security doors, she's clearly testing your patience. However, when it comes to compromising safety, that's where the line should be drawn. While it's understandable that you may have felt a tad bit gleeful in denying Karen access as payback, always prioritize safety and follow the rules set in place for everyone's well-being. Reporting her for propping open the security door was the right move, as compromising safety is no joking matter. As for her demand for you to pay her fines and fees, that's simply not your responsibility. You shouldn't feel pressured to bend to her will just to avoid drama. Stand your ground, maintain your integrity, and continue abiding by the apartment rules. Remember, in the grand saga of apartment living, it's always best to take the high road and not let the Karen of the building ruffle your feathers. Am I the antagonist for telling my half-sister she isn't welcome on the family vacation with my mom? My father had an affair around the time he and my mother conceived me, 16 years old, and my half-sister Jessie, 16 years old, was the result. My parents already had my sister Winter, 18 years old, and after me my parents had my brothers Hayes, 14 years old, and Jonah, 13 years old. We found out Jessie was our half-sister 6 years ago, and my parents' marriage broke up over the revelation. Dad ended up getting back together with Jessie's mom, which broke up her marriage, happening after she and my dad had broken up. Jessie was aware of my dad, and they had a relationship. Winter and I knew her from school, but we were not close to her. Only after the big reveal did we really talk to Jessie, and she told us we had to treat her as a real sister, and that her parents said we would always have to include her now because she was our family. That has been her attitude ever since. She does not think any of us can talk to each other unless she's involved. She jumps into conversations, trying to rewrite history to include herself. Jonah attempted to get a little closer to her, and she yelled at him a few times because he was not doing it the way she wanted, meaning he wasn't erasing history. The first time it was over Universal Studios, and she said our first time there should be together. He told her we had already been, and she yelled at him. The second time was when she talked about all the Christmases we spent together, and he mentioned we hadn't spent one together yet. Whenever we have family time at Dad's house, she will come up with stories of things we have not done, in her attempts to change the past. She also makes comments about our mother getting in the way of the family, and it normally results in a fight with me and Winter versus her because we do not tolerate that behavior. So we do not have the best relationship with her. I cannot say any of us hate her. Maybe Winter does. but I do not consider her a real sister or a real member of my family, and in 2 years, I won't speak to her or my dad. I am upset with him for a lot of things. This year is the first year since the divorce that Mom can take us on vacation, and she has decided to make it a special one because Winter goes to college in the fall. Jesse found out about this via Dad, who was not happy with Mom taking advantage of the chance to extend custody during the summer for 2 weeks for a vacation, and he was upset because Winter declined going on vacation with his family. This year, she no longer sees Dad because she's 18. Jesse told us we couldn't go on a family vacation without her and she needed to come. I told her that wasn't happening, and she said we had to include her because she's our sister. I said she's not my mom's daughter. She said we're family though, and she's our sister. I told her she's not welcome on our family vacation with Mom. She never would be, and none of us want her there. She yelled at me, and my dad got upset at me for upsetting her and saying such a lousy thing to her and taking his affair out on her. Am I the asshole? Am I the antagonist? First of all, let me just say it sounds like your family tree needs some serious untangling. It's like a soap opera plot with all these twists and turns. Now, on to the matter at hand. It seems like Jesse is pushing the extended family concept to its limits by gate-crashing every family occasion like a determined party crasher. While it's admirable that she wants to be included, she needs to understand that being genetically linked doesn't automatically grant her access to every gathering like she has a VIP pass. On the flip side, your dad probably needs to chill a bit and realize that not everyone has to welcome Jesse with open arms. You're not Lagerfeld designing a couture dress here. Family dynamics are complex and messy. So, are you the jerk for not wanting Jesse to crash your family vacay? Not really. You have the right to set boundaries, especially when it comes to enjoying some fun in the sun without unwanted drama. Just make sure to pack some extra sunscreen for the shade you're throwing. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.